Wasting no time here, there's a couple of different angles I want to take with this, but this video is obviously surrounding my thoughts as to why Marvel or DC have this recent emphasis on concepts that we generally associate with the left, though it isn't exclusive to them. So that includes social justice, feminism, and what I deem as tokenism when change of race of established characters or have a character exist solely due to his race, sexuality, and what have you. Now, these ideas aren't exclusive to Marvel or DC, and I'm referring to both the comics themselves as well as the live action depictions of the same characters. I have no insider information, I could be wrong, but this is me assessing the situation and making sense of it all. You're free to give your own theories in the comments and we can discuss, of course. Now, let's get the defaults out the way. Some will say, well, comics have always been about social justice. These are the people that annoy the living hell out of me because they act like I'm stupid. It is absolutely no secret that some comics have addressed relevant topics, politics or social issues, but it certainly wasn't to this degree. It wasn't this lopsided, and the writing was good enough that it didn't beat you over the head with it. What folks like myself are saying is that, do not let your political agenda overshadow actual character building and storytelling. And if you choose to have like a gay character or a black character, do not simply change an established character or hyper emphasize the fact that the character is black or gay, thus sacrificing really having like a character or story that's like worth a damn. I've done videos on this topic, so you can check those out. So the question then becomes, why do they do this? I think it's actually attributed to a few different reasons. One of those that I feel is the core reason, which may actually be part of the other reasons, and that is due to the Trump effect and the art of the virtue signal. What I call the Trump effect began to exist a little before Trump. I just attribute his name to this theory because him winning the presidency is what we can all really identify. You have this loudmouth, unorthodox sort of businessman running for president, and on top of that, any institution that remotely leaned left tried to paint him as the enemy to all things good. And you had all the celebrities, the mainstream media talking heads, they jumped on that bandwagon to oppose Donald Trump and said that there was absolutely no way this guy could win the presidency. Well, we know what happened. It was less about being opposed to Trump in policy and more about trying to make him representative of everything they thought unfavorable and opposing that. There's really a correlation here. For me, the positive thing about social media is that the elites no longer have that monopoly that they once had to dictate people's actions. This is a relatively new phenomena if we're talking human history, and this is because social media has allowed us to connect without having to go through those usual mediums of exchange. So you got private journalism and communities that have been built, and they no longer have a stronghold on the information. Basically, what this means is that these fools can't just influence as much as they really used to in the past. Nearly every big name celebrity, prominent media figurehead, they said that he was going to lose. They pushed for him to lose, obviously, and he still won. And by the art of the virtue signal, I'm meaning that people began coming out in opposition as a means of brownie points, right? And it had nothing to do with good arguments. It was the easiest, non-controversial position that would ensure you pats on the head, by the others that thought like you. It's like they are reading from a script, and this is why people began to call you guys NPCs. So how does this relate to comics? Well, you have to keep in mind that many of these people are funneled through the same channels, including academia. They become artists, they become writers, and as it pertains to live action, films, they become writers and directors and actors. So of course they are going to use the art as a medium to really perpetuate this idea. Go look at the Twitter of some of the writers and actors. Again, it's like they all have the same exact positions. You'd be a fool to expect them not to have this represented in their art. Again, it's like they are remote controlled. And it's funny because these fools say that the comics are reflective of the times, yet have these minority characters combating racism, homophobia, or sexism, and have it dominate the characters, yet contrary to their beliefs. We now live in a time in which all of that exists to a far smaller degree than of what they did maybe 50 years ago. They need this to be true. They need every woman dealing with sexism in every phase of her life. They need every black guy dealing with racism every day, all day. They need it to be true because it gives them an easy storyline. Again, it's the art of the virtue signal. The other reason I think they do this is because they are fucking delusional. Economics is an actual thing, as well as marketing, and in art, it has arguably become more difficult to predict or anticipate how favorably people will view your product, but you still don't have to be completely delusional. And with declining sales of comics, people seem to want to blame everything else but the storylines. People aren't buying comics. Let's just make Iceman gay. How fucking stupid are you? But in the age of social media, it comes with a negative, as it may fool you into believing that you are making a favorable move. Again, this goes back to the Trump effect, all of these hype beasts. So when you make some character gay, you may get people snapping on Twitter and fawning at the move, but the problem seems to be that they think this will translate into sales. They don't seem to realize that these people usually aren't the folks that are buying the comics. They aren't really fans like that, and they certainly won't stick around, but it's like these people are who they are attempting to appeal to. I guess it's like they think that these people will replace the comic geeks that oppose this whackness, so to them it's worth it. But they are delusional because it hardly ever works, and the damn comic ends up getting canceled because nobody buys it or cares to read it. And when they have some comic depiction do well, they think that the social justice nonsense is why it does good. It's a completely delusional reaction. It's funny because I'm saying this as Aquaman looks like it will be like $1 billion film, and Jason Momoa is mixed with Native Hawaiian, but they never tried to change his race. Both his parents are basically white in the film, like he is in the comic. There was no forced aspect of his race. Mira, who is a beast, was just a strong female. No nonsense, no forced conflict regarding gender. It's almost like if you just make the damn thing interesting, people will support it. You don't need anything to be forced. And it's funny because, as an example, I've seen some magazines bitching about lack of LGBT representation in both MCU and whatever the hell DC is doing. Who the hell cares? You know, you're really a clown, I guess, if you need to be validated, but I cannot stress enough that folks that bitch about this type of stuff are generally not fans of the comics like that anyway. Here's the thing, bro. You've got to understand that comics is a niche genre. With the growth of live action films, it certainly helps, and I'm sure there's all sorts of money coming in from those. But the guys who are going to do these stupid little videos like this, the guys that are going to go to the local comic book shop, you know, because they waited in anticipation for the new release that week, the guys buying most of the merchandise, and the guys letting the casuals in on these characters are not the guys that want you to make Superman a black guy or want you to give Captain America a boyfriend. These guys want good stories, good art, well-written characters. So the question is it worth sacrificing your backbone support for a couple of pats on the heads from casuals? I doubt it. Yes, there are exceptions, and I'm not disputing this, but let's be for real here. Those loudmouth fools on social media may not be representative of core fan bases. Here's my suggestion. Tell these leftist writers to get a grip and to realize that their lazy writing is not heavily embraced as they like to think that it is. But at the very least, you can sprinkle in some influence from, let's say, like libertarians like myself, and at least have some balance, you know what I'm saying? And I mean those guys being depicted as good guys, or more so that perspective, that narrative. Though I think social justice is just some corny concept that doesn't even actually exist, because there's only one legitimate form of actual justice. But it would at least be more tolerable if, again, you had better balance, because it's so heavily one-sided, it's painful. But no matter what you did, the lazy writing and the gimmick surrounding that will only work up to a certain point. Get a grip.